Hello, everybody, and welcome to Weird Spins. Today, I just realized at the very end of the day, after coming in from a day of work, that this is Lucio Fulci's birthday, June 17th. So, based on that, I figured something that I'd thought about doing a few times, but never really had, and I thought, should I do it for Halloween? Because so much of the stuff is kind of horror genre related, but he had a career that was illustrious. It was all over the place. Man did westerns, did comedies, did musicals. I don't have a lot of the material that came from some of these other genres, but I figured I'd go ahead and just share some of my collection based on his filmography and the soundtracks that I have from those movies, as somebody who's been a lifelong fan, or at least from the time I was 13 anyway. I have mentioned in the past, and even did a gift giveaway once, that in collaboration with Sean Lewis in California, years ago, we licensed and put out House by the Cemetery and a condensed version of the Manhattan Baby soundtrack. That was all that was available at the time for us to license. The extended version is now available. And we also had the opportunity to kind of put together a restored version at the time of Zombie with the help of Stephen Romano. The big project for us was a tribute album called For Lucio Fulci, A Symphony of Fear, a double disc set that had Mike Scotcher from Ministry, John Marshall from Metal Church performing with an assembled project called Another Dead Junkie, Dave Niebuhr from Dog Eat Dog, Marco Werber restored a Lost Pino Donnaggio overture for the Black Cat by sitting down and hand transcribing a beautiful arrangement for it and actually recording it. A combination of sequence and a small legitimate symphonette to give it a really organic, beautiful feel. So it was a real privilege to work on that. Oh, and Guar was on board. That was great. Guar did a cover of the theme from Zombie, known in some territories as Zombie 2, in other territories as Zombie Flesh Eaters. I'm not going to go into those CDs. I've shown them before, and we did a giveaway with them. But I will go through my vinyl collection and what I've got that's related. Do I have everything that's out there? No, so no need to point out to me, you don't have the new Gladiators. I'm aware I don't have the new Gladiators. Do I want the new Gladiators? Of course I want the new Gladiators, but you can't always get what you want. There's probably a good half dozen titles out there that I'm aware of that I'd still like to eventually get my hands on, one on top of the other, and the Beyond Composer's Cut I do not have. Alright, so to start off with, we have Zombie, aka Zombie Flesh Eaters, by the great Fabio Frizzi, and it's in a beautiful gatefold. This version is tracked at 45 RPM and is on sort of a sickly greenish swampy vinyl. Beautiful, beautiful edition. Great sleeve, has sort of a sepia quality to it. Recently released, the maestro Fabio Frizzi has said that he had wished that he had greater time to work on these films and more of a budget for the studio and the musicians that were available to him and so forth. So the scores didn't always really have the depth that he wanted. And he really is a progressive rock fan, so there's more of a prog rock feel to these new versions. And this is the Zombie Composer's Cut, which has some of the material from Zombie in extended reworked editions with more guitar and cello and just layers of sound going on, leads that were not there before because mostly carried by Continuo for easy editing and post. It's on a yellow and black sort of splatter. So it's a really beautiful disc. The sound quality on it is absolutely phenomenal. This is from Cadabra Records. Comes with liner notes and additional inner sleeve details, and hopefully I don't get this video flagged for this, but there's an infamous scene in it where they go looking for the wife of one of the main characters, Dr. Maynard, in his cabin. And when they get there, they find her but it's not a pretty sight. So I'll kind of keep her remains out of frame there. But this is referred to courtesy of Chas Ballin when he was with us as the picnic scene. So that's probably my number one favorite horror film of all time. Next we have a gangster movie, also scored by Fabio Frizzi, and I hate to say it, but this looks like poop-colored vinyl with smears of blood in it. I mean, literally, just that's what I got from it. But it sounds great. This is Contraband, aka The Smugglers or Luca il Contrabandiere. And it's a great little action gangster movie. Very ultra-violent, so be prepared for that. Also ultra-violent, and from much earlier in Fulci's career, we have Don't Torture the Duckling, a giallo thriller, also known as, per the sleeve, Non se servizio un paperino. This film didn't initially get widespread distribution domestically in the United States, probably because one of the primary clues as to who the murderer is comes in the form of a Donald Duck doll that's missing its head. It's on sort of a slightly greenish yellow translucent vinyl. This is by the fantastic Riz Ortolani, who you may know from doing the music for Mondo Cane. The song More was a big hit for him. And this had a really beautiful rock ballad in the film version called Che giorni siamo in te. I don't know why, but the compact disc, because I do have a CD of this, includes that song and another rock song that's not related to the composer, but the LP version is exclusively the incidental score, which is greatly built around that theme in some segments. All right. Let's see. We'll come back around to this one. Let's go with, after Zombie was successful, the team of Fabrizio De Angelis as producer, Lucio Fulci as director, Sergio Salvati as cinematographer, and Vincenzo De Masi in post. Actually, it was, Sergio Salvati was in post, and Vincenzo De Masi was the cinematographer. Did City of the Living Dead, aka The Gates of Hell, with the really scary priest who hanged himself on All Saints' Day, thereby reviving the dead. Kind of a nonsensical plot, very dreamlike, surrealist movie. Some really super duper over the top gross out moments in it, but also a really thudding, heavily electronic, heavily rocking, almost reminds me a little bit of the end of Shine On You Crazy Diamond, a couple of segments that are on here, the mood of it. And this is also Fabio Frizzi. There are a number of color variants of this one out there. I have kind of the generic red one, but it sounds beautiful, and it's what I was able to find at the time because it had been kind of sold out for a while by the time I was able to get back into collecting and get to it. That film was followed with the pairing of the big four again, De Angelis and Tomasi and Salvati and Fulci and Frizzi. So there we have quite a crew going on, and same screenwriting team as well for The Beyond. And again, we're mixing a bit of supernatural, a bit of zombies, a bit of, if you're familiar with the American film The Sentinel, about it. This one is pretty wild. I think this was a web exclusive from Mondo Death Waltz at the time, and it's on this absolutely breathtaking split two color with orange splatter. Absolutely breathtaking sleeve artwork, really captures Catriona MacColl, David Warbeck. The whole cast is just a really beautiful addition. There was one more go round with that team, which is a little more incoherent and actually borrowed a little bit of music from the other films, and that is Manhattan Baby, an Egyptian curse movie with quite a bit less gruesomeness about it. But it's got some really fine atmospherics, great cinematography, and some original beautiful pieces to the score. This is also Fabio Frizzi, and it's just on a really brightly colored yellow vinyl. This is known in some markets also as Eye of the Evil Dead. Around that time, We also had a Lovecraftian thriller, same screenwriter and crew, but different composers. This one was composed by Walter Rizzati and Alex Blanksteiner. This is a red and black split of House by the Cemetery with Schweik, the madman living in the basement who needs victims to renew his cells, whatever that means. And it seems like he's just sewing bits of other people onto himself because he's a zombie, and that's how he keeps afloat. It's got a touch of The Shining about it, a little bit of a Lovecraft about it. It's a really, really stylish film, and very, very, again, grotesque and over the top, as was his oeuvre at the time. This was, I believe, second to the last film that he directed in his career. He did one after this called Door into Silence. This film was a composite made up of 6 or 7 other films that he either directed or produced. And basically he cut himself in as himself, playing a director who's going mad and hallucinates sequences from his other films. And there's a psychiatrist who's using hypnotism to convince him that he's committing crimes when actually the shrink is the one doing it. So, spoiler alert, there are no spoilers really. But the beautiful thing about this is the movie starts with a cat puppet literally tearing through brain matter in his imagination while he's at a typewriter composing a script. And the vinyl was one of several hundred that were randomly inserted at distribution that you didn't know if you were going to get lucky and get one or not, that it is on brain colored vinyl. And that was a gift from the most important woman in my life that I'm still grateful for. It's one of my favorite records in my collection. Here we have a repackaging of the Beat Records compilation Lucio Fulci Horror and Thriller with original artwork. This is a great compilation. It features some music that you otherwise don't typically find that easily out there, from Demonia and from Door into Silence, which was his very last film and was more of a suspense piece, kind of similar to Steven Spielberg's Duel, actually. And there's also bits from many of these other films. I don't think Zombie is on there, but City of the Living Dead is on there. The Beyond is on there. Gorgeous, gorgeous music from an Ennio Morricone score for Una lucertola con la pelle da donna, which is Lizard in a Woman's Skin. This is on 2 LPs. One is a translucent bright yellow. The other is a translucent bright red. And the gatefold, which I'm not going to pull it out of the plastic, has an illustration of a cat in various stages of decomposition. We have it on the back there, kind of. Yeah. And this one, I asked Fabio Frizzi about, and he had not even seen it before. This was marketed at a film festival in France, and I did hear a journalist discussing this festival and how both The Beyond and House by the Cemetery played as important features premiering at this festival. So on the back of it, it actually has hype for Lucio Fulci, Master of Horror. One side is an original piece of orchestration that was constructed exclusively for festival use as part of their programming, and the flip side is a small series of selections from House by the Cemetery and The Beyond. So that was a really nifty find. I actually found this at a yard sale in South Florida. This one is on the Cineploit label. I've said before, anything you get on the Cineploit label, you will not be disappointed, and most of it is either film music, library track and style, or tributes to specific composers or films. This is Elaine Leonard and Alex Wank, who is also associated with the extreme metal band Pungent Stench. It's electronica driven, and they do really fantastic tribute covers. They've got a beautiful album of Riz Ortolani stuff that features New Gladiators and Zader and Cannibal Holocaust out there that you can get from Cineploit. So I do recommend that. These 2 tracks initially appeared on our Symphony of Fear tribute, and they were using the name, I believe, either Off On or On Off. I think it was On Off. And it's on a 12-inch disc, multicolor splatter inside of yellow with 7-inch picture labels. So you've got Schweik not Schweik. You've got Freudstein from The Cellar and House by the Cemetery on one side, and I'm going to slide that back in there so you can't see it. You've got Emily being attacked by her seeing eye dog Dickie on the other side. So, covering up a little bit of gruesomeness there. Fabio Frizzi with Vince Tempera and Claudio Bixio from their project Magnetic Systems, and they did a number of things collaboratively. Seven Notes in Black is on here, just an excerpt from it, as well as there's a version of the zombie theme that was predating Zombie that was put together for an odd reworking of the original black and white Godzilla that had been color tinted, re-edited, and turned into sort of an experimental surrealist film by filmmaker Luigi Cozzi. So turns out the little thudding theme for Zombie was originally a new theme for Godzilla, and it's just a traditional black vinyl press. But nice touch on there. Now we're getting more into some of the cover material, but first, I haven't even had a chance to sit down and listen to this yet. Seven Notes in Blacks, aka Murder to the Tune of Seven Black Notes, aka The Psychic, Sette Note and Nero, and this is the Magnetic Systems team working on this album. So this is promising to be a really, really beautiful listen, and I'm going to be spinning that tonight. This is Fabio Frizzi and Riccardo Rocci, who's a cello player, doing chamber versions of music from Frizzi's collection. This is a red vinyl press, comes with a poster. I don't know how many numbers were done on each of the variants, but this is one of only 100. Frizzi to Fulci. This is a double LP of Fabio Frizzi's tribute band touring. The first year that they were out touring, performing music from the films of Lucio Fulci in front of live audiences. This was recorded in the United Kingdom in a chapel on Halloween night. And it's got two different disc splatters. One's kind of a bright yellow inside of a dark green. And the other one has this almost like speckled egg kind of pretty thing going on in it. Oh no, wait, that's... These look the same, sorry. I'm thinking of Zombie Holocaust has the second disc is sort of a speckled egg thing. All right, which is a different filmmaker, but was shot on the same locations as Zombie, with some of the same cast. Okay, and here we have Conquest. This was a Mexican co-production and is part of the Sword and Sandal, kind of following up to the popularity of Sword and the Sorcerer and Conan the Barbarian and Excalibur. So he did a little movie in that sort of style. This is by Claudio Simonetti of Goblin, and it's clear vinyl with a little bit of a smokiness swirling around in it. Moving on, have a 7-inch promo single-sided flexi disc of a performance live of the theme from Cat in the Brain. And I'm not sure how many of those were manufactured, but I consider myself very lucky to have gotten a hold of one. Sean Lewis went on to start a company called Ibon Press, or Avon, however you wish to pronounce it. And it is comic books dedicated to cinema and cinema-style storytelling from the era of extreme grindhouse horror films. So they reworked several of Fulci's films, including House by the Cemetery, Gates of Hell, Zombie, The Beyond. They did a Beyond sequel. They did a Zombie sequel. They've done Bill Lustig's Maniac. And when they did the original runs, these are pretty fantastic. They come in what's called an Ibon sleeve, the upgraded editions. These are out of print by quite a bit now. There's an ash can in there for the episode 5, issue 5, that goes into the sequel. Alternate covers on some of the different ones. The artwork in these things is just breathtaking. Magnificent comic books. So if you're a comic collector, you might want to look for some of these. They're really stunning. And when they're intact, They have all these wonderful little extras. In the case of this one, issue 4 of Zombie includes this little item in there. Looks like a CD sleeve, but it is a cover version and an original version of the Zombie theme on a little red 5-inch disc. And they did the same when they put out City of the Living Dead, Gates of Hell. So they wait till the final issue. So this one was wrapped up in 3 issues. There's the Fabio Frizzi's credit on the sleeve. And more little ash can things. And what do we got here? A little trading card in there. So it's very, very beautiful, amazing editions. And these comics, if you're a fan of this kind of stuff, are absolutely essential. They're just incredible, incredible works of art. And I can't say enough good things about them and how proud I am to be able to have these in my collection and to be able to share them with you. And hoping that there's much more to come from Sean and Steve Romano and all the people at Island Press. That said, last item, one of the tracks from the Symphony of Fear was repackaged by Sean, which is the New York Ripper theme. And this is kind of gruesome art, so prepare yourself. They put it out with, you get a Fulci Lives bumper sticker and inside liner notes, but the disc itself is a picture flexi, and this is Another Dead Junkie featuring John Marshall of Metal Church playing a really fantastic sort of surf rock style lead to the music of a cover of the music of Francesco De Masi. Really wonderfully done, and considering the ties that I had to, I've got a producer credit on the back of that, and I was also able to get a hold of this test pressing, so I'm very, very happy about that. So that is my Lucio Fulci collection on Lucio Fulci's birthday. And if you're a fan of the genre, plug in a soundtrack or watch a Lucio Fulci film tonight, if there's still time. By the time this goes online, we're going to be in the 18th where I'm at, but it'll still be the 17th somewhere. Have a good night. See you real soon.